Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Asama talking here from Team Stand and Draw, bringing you my deck profile, my completed Pacifica build. It's obviously has EV10 support, and it's I'm gonna tell you the cards it's in and the reasons why I put it inside. And at the end of the video, I'll slap you with my big winning image with this deck, and hopefully you like it. So let's start. So I have Bermuda Triangle Cadet Shizuku skills. When I put it into the soul, you CB1 and check top 5 for a grade 3. And if you find a grade 3, show it, pluck it into your hand, and then shuffle. I put her into the deck personally in all my Bermuda Triangle decks because, you know, it's like I want to be able to pull the grade 3 that I want. That's honestly why I have her in here. And 90% of the time, considering my grade 3 lineup, the one card that I want to be guaranteed to pull most of the time, or if maybe the two cards I want to be guaranteed to pull most of the time, either the Cross Ride for Pacifica or the Break Ride. I never once want to be able to pull the top the base Pacifica. If I have to, then that's fine. But 90% of the time, if that ever happens, I always seem to have either the Break Ride or a Cross Ride already in my hand if I happen to pull the base with the top 5 search Shizuku. But that's also the reason why when I have her, she tends to go below the Vanguard, and I don't use her till late game because she's not really needed if I already have a grade 3 in my hand to ride, and then later on happen to draw into a grade 3 that I can break ride at the time when it's needed the most. 90% of the time, that tends to be the case. That's the reason why I have her. Okay. The trigger lineup: grade 2s, Mermaid, Owl, Fundy. This is the soul charge card which you put into the soul and you apply 3k to any Bermuda Triangle unit on the field. I have her in the deck only because when I need it most, it's not just to apply the power, but also be able to provide my Vanguard with soul. So when I have to use certain cards in the deck, I can actually loop my combos over and over again, which I'll talk about when I get to those cards. But again, she is here for soul. She's here for soul providing, and also if I feel like I need it for a late game overpowering combo that needs to be done, I will put her into the soul and obviously apply the 3k to the strongest row on the field that already has been applied the most power. So that's the reason why she's here. My next one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 critical. This thing is very crit heavy, very competitive in turns. I need it to be crit heavy because I don't want people to look at this deck and assume that this thing is to draw reliance or anything like that. I want people to realize that this deck is here to take you out in any means necessary. So do not assume that every trigger you get is going to be a draw trigger, nor a stand trigger or anything along those lines. It is strictly crit. I am trying to kill you. That is really the point of this deck. I am trying to achieve very high numbers, if most 30 with both my rolls, or even higher, if not 25, and now applying all effects to my rear guards to be the source to my opponent's defeat. That's really what I'm looking for. My Vanguard is just to be able to fuel my rear guards with all the power that it needs. That's why the 10 crits here. The 10 crits here is just to be able to take out my opponent the fastest way possible. Especially when I'm fighting against decks like maybe clans from the Dragon Empire, or possibly people from the Stargate Nation. People like that actually have the ability to, you know, to neutralize most of my strategies. If I'm going to be neutralized, I'd rather be able to take my opponent out now than later when they'll be able to destroy all the options that I have. So it's either I take you out beforehand, or you take me out. It's sort of like a wager, but I kind of like it that way. And last but not least is 1, 2, 3, 4 heal triggers. The logical. Next, grade 1s is 1, 2. I have 2 of the Pacifica 10k beat sticks. She is here for reasons being, whenever she is needed, I will either play her when I actually ride the grade 3 Pacifica, or she is to be called or played when I'm about to run out of options. She is here either to be a booster, logically, to be called when I need to apply powers and I don't have many options left to play to call units, or to play her early game after I've made my grade 3 ride with a Pacifica unit. That's the reason why she's here. Next, I run 1, 2, 3, 4. I run 4 of the AK beat stick, Mermaid Idol Sedna. She is here for reasons being, in the beginning of my turn, when I start, I want my ideal ride to be Sedna 90% of the time, and also Sedna is also here in the scenario that I use my 12k beat stick Sana. I want to be able to produce a 20k roll when I use Eternal Idol skill. So Eternal Idol in combo with Planet Idol. So when I return 2 cards using Eternal Idol skill, I want to be able to call 2 cards because Eternal Idol is limited to calling 1. But with Planet Idol skill having Broke Road, you can call 2, in which case produce a whole new row entirely. So the best option will be able to provide yourself with a 20k row. So if you get 2 triggers, apply all effects to the rear guard, and you have yourself a 30k row to attack with. That's the reason why I send this here. more options if anything else, but Sedna is probably is one of the big most convenient cards in this deck, as in terms of grade 1s. I run 3 Perfect Guards. I run 3 solely for the fact that I desire for it not to clog up too much space. Perfect Guards is very convenient. Yes, it is, and it is needed in a deck. If not, 90% of the time you do need 4 Perfect Guards. But again, it does tend to clog up space, and you know it does come up at times when you don't need it. So that's the reason why I run 3. Oh, sorry, I meant to move that. I forgot about 1, 2. Do a pretty horn Oral. Obviously, Oral skill. She when placed on rear guard, you Soul Blast 1. Soul Blast 2, excuse me, SB2, and you draw a card. She is here for the sole fact that in turns that I feel like I need the hand power, it can there's two ways in which I feel like I need to use this card. One, if I feel like my hand is low, and instead of getting 2 cards for my drive check, I can superior call Oral using Eternal Idol skill. If I feel like I don't have any more setness to call her, use the skill Soul Blast 2, and draw a card, and then drive check into 2 other cards. So, and in which case, if I happen to get lucky with the 2 draw triggers in the deck, I'll end up getting 4 to 5 cards. So that's the reason why she's here. She's here to help provide me with the hand power I need at the very last moment when it's during my turn and I happen to call her. That's the reason why she's here. And last but not least, 1, 2, 3. This is Dual Clear Parasol Korra. Korra skills: when she's placed on the rear guard, you Soul Blast 2 and you want flip 2 damages. She's one of the big assets to this deck, primarily because she is here for the loop, well, not the loop, but the reuses of Eternal Idol skill. Before, she used to be limited, only able to use the skill once because we were not provided with damage on flips. But now that Korra is here, we are now able to utilize the skill more than once. So whenever I feel the need to, and my soul is actually considerably high, if not high enough for me to use more than once for at least Korra to be played twice, she's there, and I'll unflip the damage more than once. Whether I superior call her or I just call her, I base call her to the field, I'll use the skill to Soul Blast and then reuse the skill once again for late game to try to go for the win, and hoping that I actually pull out the crits that I need. Grade 2s, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is Dual Dream Idol Asama. This is a 12k B stick for Pacifica. She's obviously here for reasons being, she's obviously again the 12k B stick. She is here when I have Eternal Idol or any of the Pacificas for that matter. She's here to swing for good numbers. When I have Sedna, where are you? Come here for a second. I have Sana and Sedna. This is my big 20k roll that actually is needed. I need her to strike fast and hard. So if I play Eternal Idol, I don't have a 20k on a roll, but I use Eternal Idol skill after running in with 2 attacks. Eternal Idol being the second, I can call in a brand new roll using the combo of Eternal Implanted to call a brand new 20k roll. So if I already use a 20k roll, I can bring back this 20k roll to call another 20k roll. So it's not entirely over yet. You have another 20k roll coming. Plus, in addition, if there's another 20k roll already here after having used one and called another one, the numbers just keep on going. So at some point in time, either if I get 2 triggers, I'll distribute it to two different rolls, or I'll apply it to one roll entirely. So I have those options, and since I'm swinging for 20, although you just need a simple 10 to guard with if you're going to be in 11k 90% of the time, you still have to drop the 10. So regardless, it's very convenient. Okay, it's I run 4 of her. Prism Duo Vaughn. Her skill is when a Bermuda Triangle unit is returned to your hand, this unit gets 3k. So, and the reason why she is here, the reason why I run 4 of her is because she's very convenient. It doesn't matter whether I ride her or not. It's not entirely bad because 90% of the time there's still going to be 2 to 3, if not 2 to 3 of her still in the deck. So I will be calling her to the rear guard. She is here primarily at the time comes when Eternal Idol is placed on the Vanguard and I break ride. Obviously, she is going to be the one that's going to be provided probably the most boost of power. And so with Eternal skill, she's already on the field. Eternal, I return to +6 to here. She's 14. If by chance I happen to have Sedna here, this is what? 14 + 8, this is 22. I already have a 20k roll established already since I haven't called that. So this will be 20. This will be 31 if I have a Sedna behind Vanguard after I broke her with Planet. And then you have 22 here. Now, depending on the circumstance of what my opponent has in his hand, I may or may not apply all effects here. So this becomes 32. So It all depends on how it all depends on what my opponent's hand looks like during a certain point in the game and what he happened to drive check. But still, Yvonne is here to be able to slap for a very high number at a time in the game when I need it the most. She's very convenient to have. And since Eternal Out skill is primarily focused on returning more than one card, this 6k boost is probably the most, probably one of the most biggest assets of the grade 2s in this deck. That's the reason why. Okay, and last but not least, I run 1, 2, 3. The generic 10k beat stick. Prism Smile Lugarian, which she is here. I 90% of the time ideally would like her to be my grade 2 ride, but if it's not that bad. I mean, it's good to have her in the deck. She is a 10k beat stick nonetheless, and good to have in the beginning of the game to strike for 10, 18 if Senna's behind Vanguard, or if Shizuku's behind Vanguard for 14. It's still really nice. I like the 10k beat stick. It's very convenient to have, and happen to be really well to have. You happen to use this as your grade 2 ride. You don't have to worry about using either your 12k beat stick Pacifica, Sana, or maybe Yvonne. You don't have to worry about riding that if you happen to have this in your hand in time when you have to ride your grade 2. That's my grade 2 lineup. And last but not least, my Eternal Idol. Oh, excuse me. That slipped, sorry. Anyway, yeah. 1, 2, 3. I run 3 Eternal Idol Pacifica. Again, she is the big boss and the main part of this deck, being the cross ride. Her skill, limit break 4, as if most people, if not everybody, should know. When you counterblast 3 and you return 2 units on the field to your hand, and you call 1 unit, you superior call 1 unit to the field from the deck, and then you shuffle. This unit, Eternal Idol Pacifica, is she's a very strong unit, but needs to be used wisely because she can be looked at. She could be looked down upon depending on how the person decides to use this skill. If used improperly, you may not call the card or cards needed to be able to give your opponent the pressure that's actually needed at a certain point in the game. So, and she's here to combo in numerous different cards in the deck. That being Eternal Idol combos with superior calling her if ever needed to Soul Blast 2 and unflip again to reuse the skill next turn. Superior call Oral to Soul Blast 2 and draw a card right when I'm about to drive check, so I don't get just 2 cards, I get 3 cards. Or the superior call my 10k beat stick when it's actually needed, so I can swing for not 10 but 15 when I apply effects to this rear guard main. The 10k beat stick of Pacifica Sport. So that's the combos with the grade 1s with Eternal. The grade 2s, you want to I superior call, let's see, not Yvonne but Sana, and with the combo of Planet Idol, I call Sedna, so I have established a 20k row. So that's actually good. That's the reason. That's one of the reasons why Sana is one of the major grade 2s that I actually call with Eternal Idol. And in the scenario that I happen to run out of Sanas, it doesn't really matter the circumstance. I'll probably call Lugarian. Wrong card. I'll probably call Lugarian, I'll probably call her. I'll have an 18k roll established. Apply all effects to the rear guard. I'm 23 plus a crit if anything else. It's still a good number. I'm hitting over 21, which is convenient. So 9 times out of 10, you'll still have to drop a 10 and a 5 for me. That being Eternal Idols, the largest usage and strongest points, being able to call pretty much 90% of the cards inside the deck and using all of their effects at the point when it's needed the most during the turn that she attacks. Next is 1, 2, 3. It's Planet Idol Pacifica. Planet Idol Pacifica skill is when you break ride over her, you break ride 10k to the Vanguard, and when a unit is returned to your hand, when this card is broke ridden, you also get the effect of being able to superior call a unit to the field after a card is returned to your hand. So, and the reason why she's here is obviously as Vanguard when I break ride. The biggest combo of this deck and the strongest combo is having Break Ride Pacifica, Planet Idol, and Break Riding with Eternal Idol to use Eternal Idol skill to not just return 2 cards, but with the use of a Planet Idol skill, not just calling 1 but 2 cards, in which case establishing a whole new roll after returning a roll which has already been used to attack as the first attack of the turn and during the battle. That's the reason why she's here. She helps me establish the one extra row needed to get my 4th or 5th attack, sort of like the Aquaforce, except I'm not swapping cards. And last but not least, 1, 2. Top Auto Pacifica, the base Pacifica of the deck. She is here conveniently enough. She will be swapped out because I will be running 4 of the break ride at some point in time. So there will only be 1 of her, but she is here conveniently at the very time that I break ride, or in which case, yeah, when I break ride, and it's maybe I break ride with Eternal, with a Planet Idol over Planet Idol, and I happen to have a top idol on the field. I will use the Planet Idols in the Soul skill to toss in the top idol into the Soul. In which case, when I get Eternal Idol, I'll be able to cross break. So she's always here to help me set up a cross ride, whether it's to cross break or just to cross ride in general. That's the only reason why Top Idol's here. She is never to be used on the Vanguard, only for rear guard to be placed into the Soul. If 90% of the time, if she's placed on the rear guard unsafely, people will do everything in their power to take out the Top Idol, so you're not able to cross ride, because they don't want you to be able to just drop a 10 90% of the game. They want you to be able to drop more cards, considering if you're cross ride, you don't have to worry about guarding too much. So obviously you want to be able to think about exactly when you're going to play Top Idol onto the field. That's the reason why she's here. And with that is most of my deck and my ideal winning image. I'm just going to show you what it should look like. I'm not going to bother explaining it, but I'm just going to show you what it should look like. I break ride, Planet Idol over Eternal. Let's see. 1, 2. This is 1 winning image. 2, 3, and it'll pretty much go down like this. It'll be 20, Eternal skill, return those 2, Eternal and Planet skill, call another 20k row. This got +6. I drive check. I get 2 critical triggers. I can apply all effects here or here. Doesn't matter. I'll probably apply critical empower here, critical empower here. Afterwards, I'll attack again and attack again. And depending on my opponent's hand size, either 90% of his hand will be reduced, or that'll pretty much be the game. That'll pretty much be it. And the second one, it's really no different. It's pretty much just being able to pretty much swing in with 3 20k rows. That's another one. That's the other part of my ideal finisher, or my ideal game right there. Is being able to finish my opponent swinging in for not 1, 2, and then coming in again and swinging in for 3 20k rows. That's my ideal game. Those are my ideal winning. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I will see you later. This is Asama talking from Team Stand and Draw, and I'll see you guys later.